Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our final match of the day here for our Nanyang Championships Chinese qualifier action. Best of three, going the distance, gods. It's EHOME versus Tongfu. Felt like that game one should have been EHOME's.
Yep.
They probably should have taken this 2-0, but Tongfu, they still got a shot.
Yep. They had a good start in game two, but it was never like a convincing lead, and the anti-mage had a lot of answers on the other side. So the support play we talked about from EHOME, that's definitely where it seems like they excel and are going to be better than Tongfu. So it's going to come down to me, Tongfu drafting well and just punishing EHOME mistakes, which was very much the case in game one.
All right, well, with that, our draft has begun, so let's go ahead, hop into it, see what the teams are cooking up for us.
Yep.
And it's more of the same. Your gyrocopter opening, Tongfu, quick to reply with Alina Clock. Normally, this is where most teams want their Earthshaker, but now they may be given pause by the clock pick.
Yeah, and I think it's also why Tongfu didn't go for the Lina Shaker. For one thing, it didn't work for them in the previous game, but also because if you take Lina Shaker, there's almost dead certain EHOME would take Clockwork because it works well with Gyro and counters both those two heroes pretty well. So I like that Tongfu take the Clockwork, and we'll see where EHOME look to go from here. But Gyro, very flexible, and that you can do so much with this hero. And we saw last game, CTY can play that more fighting, aggressive style carry. If anything, it suited him a lot better than what we saw in Anti-Mage in game one.
EHOME biding their time as they work over this next pick. They have not been afraid to experiment. We've seen the Wyvern first pick, or first phase picked at least. We've also seen the Silencer grabbed up. They've played a Disruptor. We've seen Rubik. This team has had quite a bit of diversity for their supporting cast especially. And go back to the Wyvern pick in this particular case.
They really favor the Winter Wyvern. They love having these teamfight-centric supports, and that's what we're going to see again here from the Wyvern pick. And even going back to TI5, the Wyvern Phoenix duo was something they kind of popularized, or at least for themselves. And
maybe this is where you ban the Darkseer if you're Tongfu.
Yeah. I mean, it lost game one, but it felt like the potential was there, and it was a hero that could cause them a lot of problems. So
Tongfu will remove the Rubik. Interesting. EHOME did run it earlier.
I mean, a good support against Clockwork always, so.
Good point there.
But other than that, I think just maybe potentially worried about some of the spell steals that could come out. Maybe Tongfu want to go for an Earthshaker once more. The Fissure steals was something where, like, you look at that game, you're like, was Earthshaker a really good pick? Rubik Fissures did a lot more than the Earthshakers, but
yeah,
if they can...
He had the help of the Global, I guess, is the issue that game.
Yeah.
So
I could see some merits in maybe an EHOME Earthshaker ban here if they're worried about the roaming Shaker. You can't Clockwork against it. You can't get a Rubik to steal it, so Earthshaker Lina always very deadly for whatever EHOME want to run as their mid. Which, wonder what they're going to go. Both TAs available, as is Shadow Fiend. Old Chicken played a lot of Shadow Fiend back when he was on the newbie young team. That was kind of the hero where I kind of first was like, oh man, this guy's legit with his Shadow Fiend play, but not a hero we've seen as much in the current patch as of late. I'd say we've seen a lot more TA than we have Shadow Fiend, and TA is actually a great matchup versus Lina.
That's definitely a possibility. And, you know, interestingly for EHOME, they're going to go for a much more, like, standard carry this time for CTY. We saw them experiment a little bit with the Juggernaut last game. Worked out great. The Anti-Mage didn't seem... I mean, frankly, it just didn't seem like he was that comfortable with the hero in terms of decision-making. So,
yeah,
going for something a little bit more aggressive where CTY can get active, involved earlier on, could be a better fit for him.
Yeah. At least based on the two games we've seen, it should suit EHOME a lot more. So Tongfu's last ban coming now, and Storm Spirit will be taken out since they can't AM as a pseudo counter, and well, they don't want to have to deal with another Storm coming out of EHOME. So
yeah, all very just standard 6.84 things at this point. The patch can't come soon enough.
Well, this is where teams may look to deviate. We'll see. Earthshaker, no deviations yet. And that's where the Rubik ban makes a lot more sense, because they probably had Earthshaker on their mind as a possibility. And those second stage bans often are more targeted at the kind of core heroes, as you see the AM and Queen of Pain taken out. But
all right, this fella's new to this series. Spirit Breaker grabbed by EHOME. Now, there are a lot of ways to cancel charge. You've got the Yules, the Lina Stun, the Clockwork Cogs, the Fissure. Tough game for the Cow.
It is. I think maybe looking at this being a good laning stage game for the Cow. Not to know, you don't actually know what you're laning against, but it's not really a tri lane with Earthshaker and focus more around roaming, stacking camps. So thinking that unless Tongfu get a really good zoning carry, that this may be a good game for Spirit Breaker just to bully whichever kind of safe lane carry Tongfu look to pick. But there's still a lot of room for Tongfu to pick something like a Dazzle or something, which can just try and push the Spirit Breaker out of the lane.
One hero that has not made it through to this stage yet, but is still out there, is the Phantom Lancer. Is this a PL game for Tongfu gods, or do you think this will be countered too hard?
UPL, EHOME pick Ember, most likely. It seems that's just like everyone's go-to now. As soon as you see PL, you pick Ember. So,
or Sven, if you're IG.
Yeah.
But they seem like the only team that's running it.
Like, I mean, in that case, like Ember was banned. I imagine Ember would have been preferred, but Tongfu thinking things through here. You can still play PL against Ember. It's not by any means like, oh, you've just instantly lost, but it makes it very tough, and you want to get a lot done with PL in the early to mid game before Ember gets that Battle Fury plus Daedalus online.
And they will PL. So now if you Ember, you're Lina Earthshaker versus an Ember mid.
And that's where I feel like they can do well in the early to mid game, because Ember is a bad matchup against Alina with a roaming Earthshaker. So it's going to be a rough laning stage for Old Chicken if they do pick Ember. Personally, I would still lean towards picking it just because of how good a PL counter it is in the mid to late game. And to me, Tongfu's draft isn't going to end the game that fast. You've got weak pushing heroes in ES, Lina, and Clockwork. So I think the Ember pick is still decent here, but Shadow Fiend it is. So different AoE
That'll
hero.
be the Old Chicken hero that you pointed out. Good call there, Guts. So now they've got their big damage dealers. They've got their... Well, I guess the question is, do they have their offlaner yet, or is this a support Spirit Breaker?
Just chuck Gyro on a support, then you can still pick Ember. You're set. Someone did support Gyro.
A couple
recently.
teams have been experimenting with it. It's not bad. It's just situational, it seems.
I think where I saw it was one of the Americas games, because the other team picked a Storm, and they're like, we don't really like.
Just get boots and just run at him with your Rocket Barrage.
It was more that they could then pick an anti-mage, because the other team's like, we can pick Storm, they won't anti-mage because they have a Gyro, and they're just like, we'll pick anti-mage, we'll run Gyro as support now.
Yeah.
What IG did at TI was they ran Gyro mid, but the next level thing is that actually works better than Gyro mid, is just Gyro support.
And EHOME will ban a Warlock. All right.
Of all the heroes to ban out.
Did they run out of time? No, they've still got reserve time.
Maybe these teams have been scrimming or something, because we saw some unusual bans this series. What was the one of the bans in the last game? So I remember caught us by surprise as well. So,
I'm trying to remember. I'd have to go back and look at the drafts at this point.
Maybe they've been scrimming a bit and kind of know each other. So, it was the Kunkka ban, the 5th ban on Kunkka.
Yes, but that we recognized as a Lanham hero. The Warlock, I have no idea about.
Yeah, just a pesky 4-position support of some kind. I mean, doesn't cancel charge unless you want to drop a rock, which isn't normally a good move to do.
5 seconds remaining.
Upheaval's somewhat annoying. I don't know.
Well, for EHOME, it's time to lay all their cards officially on the table. Is it a support Spirit Breaker? Is he the offlaner? And if it is a support, or rather, if it is the offlaner, then who is that final support hero? Not too many offlaners banned. It's more just they're already picked. The Clock Shaker and Spirit Breaker all in one game.
I think Spirit Breaker can at least go a bit head-on against a Silencer PL, so you're not too worried about him going offlane, but yeah, I don't see any really good alternatives. 5 seconds though, so we'll wait and see what EHOME have in mind.
It will be a Darkseer. So, I mean, I mentioned this second after the Wyvern pick, just maybe something Tongfu want to ban.
Yeah, and
you've got that vacuum into the Winter's Curse. Now, will they get the combo off? I don't think we saw it once in that first game, where they had like a 4 or 5 hero, or even a 3 hero vacuum.
They had a 2 hero one.
Yeah.
There wasn't a Winter's Curse that ever caught 2 heroes, apart from the one time where Vacuum made it catch 2 heroes. That was just a game where Tongfu actually played really well against the Winter's Curse, but that was not by any means a good EHOME showing.
So with this final pick, EHOME conclude their draft, and now we get ready for deciding game number 3. Winner of this game, I will take a quick look at the bracket here, just so I can update you guys on the road ahead for these teams. We've got...
They're in the winner bracket final against IG.
They're in the winner bracket final. Now, there is only, I believe, 1 slot for the Chinese teams. The rest have already been invited. So if you win this best of 3, you are 2 series away for moving on and going to the big land finals. Should be a blast. It's a $200,000 base prize pool. And some really good teams already going. Secret, Virtus Pro, Fnatic representing basically not China, and then you've got LGD, CDEC, and Vici to represent the Chinese teams directly.
Yeah. It should be a really
the only
really
team
good event.
missing is EG. Otherwise, it's pretty much all the biggest name teams right now.
Yeah, absolutely stacked. And Europe qualifiers begin in like 2 or 3 days. Right the day after China ends, Europe begins. So we'll see some of the top European squads competing there and looking to attend. Navi, Vega, Alliance, Monkey Freedom Fighters, and both Monkey teams. I always get them confused. I see like Monkey something, and I assume it's like No-Tail's team. And I'm like, oh wait, there's the other team with Sing Sing as well. Like,
yeah, I was bringing that up when I was casting with Mad a week ago or so. It was definitely interesting.
There's a common theme going with Dota 2
it's like
team
then
names.
you had the basically unknown, and what was the other BU?
Burden United.
Burden United, yeah. So players like to make it hard on the casters.
It's always
keep it
Sing
interesting.
Sing
Keep you on your
Sing
toes.
always copying other team names or acronyms, I guess.
Apparently, LPC played support Warlock yesterday in their game versus FTDA for this tournament. So it was on the second stream.
Nice.
Sounds like.
All right. That's good.
Not
to know.
sure that I'm feeling the support Warlock, but I guess maybe it could work.
We'll see. I imagine pretty standard lane setups. I guess the Spirit Breaker is going to be the one X factor for EHOME, whether he looks to dual lane in the off lane. I feel like there's a lot of potential to send Spirit Breaker down there and play that bounty hunter type role where you're just looking to disrupt the farm of PL. It would force Earthshaker to commit a lot of time in that Radiant safe lane, because Silencer plus PL would struggle a lot against the Darkseer Spirit Breaker. You chuck an Iron Shell in the Spirit Breaker, he can just run at the support Silencer if Silencer's trying to play in the trees. And if PL's trying to farm, you can run up to him and start right-clicking him. So I think EHOME can really contest their off lane, whereas Tongfu are just going to be looking to contest more the mid lane with the Earthshaker rotations, try and look for some kills on the Shadow Fiend with the Earthshaker plus Lina. So both teams will probably have different ideas as far as which lane they want to try and win.
All right, let's see whose idea reigns supreme here through the laning stage. And with that, going to go ahead and introduce the teams. U9 will be playing your Silencer, and it looks like we are going to see a
U9?
core Silencer.
Oh.
Gets the null tally early. Something fresh and funky here. Faith will be on a support Lina. That puts LPC onto an Earthshaker support. Will be Bingo, Zex Bingo, handling the clockwork, and then Zinq as the safe lane Phantom Lancer. So already a curveball from Tongfu.
Wow.
Gods, I'll let you contemplate that while I introduce EHOME. We've got 11 handling the Darkseer, Lanham, the Winter Wyvern, Old Chicken, the Shadow Fiend. We'll see a ward planted down the mid lane, and that leaves CTY on the Gyrocopter, and in the off lane, Kaka as the Spirit Breaker. So, you've had a few moments here, Gods. Why core Silencer?
It makes their safe lane a lot stronger. They're not going to get bullied as much by a Spirit Breaker plus Darkseer, which I think is the biggest upside of doing this. Their mid lane, like an Earthshaker rotations with a Silencer, to me doesn't set up anywhere near as many kills as a Lina can. Like Shadow Fiend should have a much better time against Silencer than Lina. So the biggest thing this does is, get Zinq farm on the PL. But I'm not convinced on this. It is a different, like I kind of talked about Tongfu looking to win the mid lane while EHOME will look to win the off lane. This is basically saying they actually want to put more attention on the bottom lane, because Earthshaker rotations with a fissure into LSA has a lot more kill potential.
Well, this is a bold charge by Kaka. He's going to miss on the bounty rune, though.
That would be a nice play.
Yeah, I guess they don't really have a whole lot of counterplay on that.
Yep.
Does try to deny the Silencer his early bit of gold there. We'll activate the bounty rune and immediately ferry out an early salve. So trying to get a bit of extra regen for himself. Up against Old Chicken. Going for the bottle rush. Not getting that early Wraith ban here. Just going to raise out the wave.
Bingo not off to the best start on the Radiant off lane as well, with the block only keeping the range creep in. So that's not... The lane will push out, but it takes a lot longer, and you're not going to get a lot less out of this lane. Mid lane, meanwhile, Fissure block? Not quite.
Close call. There was also a bit of pressure on the bottom lane as Kaka loses about 300 health off the bat, so lots of interesting action all over the place, even though nobody's dying just yet. And he continues to tank these auto attacks from the Lina. I mean, just not respecting Faith's damage output at all.
Just a straight up jungle Darkseer. It's what we saw going back to game 1 out of EHOME. And he kind of jungled up like level 4, level 5, then went to the off lane. So I imagine we see something similar. Give Spirit Breaker solo XP, Well, for now he's not really getting XP, but ideally you want him to get like level 3 or 4. Darkseid gets level 3 or 4, and then you combine these two heroes together, and Lena's done for. You get a level 2, level 3 Spirit Breaker, charging him with an Iron Shell, and you can't fight if you're Lena, but you've got to get those levels first, which is where Kaka is struggling a little bit.
Yeah, I do want to mention, since I know a lot of you guys have just woken up or happened to mosey by the stream, that there is a reborn bug with the scoreboard at the top. I think I've said this like 5 times today
Roshan,
already.
have mercy.
Oh, charging through. Kaka will barely escape, but not so lucky in the top lane. His X-Bingo trapped in the cogs. This will be the first blood. One more auto attack. Goes the way of Mr. CTY in the safe lane. But yeah, guys, it is 1-1. This is game 3, so just ignore the scoreboard. It's not correct.
SF can ham it around.
17%? 17%? No.
SF has got 3 last hits here. The constant fissure harass U9 has been able to win this lane a lot harder than I would have thought, but a lot of that it has just come down to the Earthshaker with constant pressure.
Just skipping the curse, of course, is the core silencer, going for the more damage-heavy build.
Yeah. I think SF maybe didn't get raised level 1, which is where he really struggled to get that early CS and farm up his bottle.
Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, Chicken really tanking some
Here
harass
he comes
here.
mid lane looking for a block.
Fissure will connect. This time, Old Chicken's trapped out, but he turns and tries to engage with the raise. It's just not enough damage yet, but maybe that secondary raise would get the job done. Didn't have the medium range.
I think he could have led with it. Looked like he was going for the medium raise to start and would follow up with a long raise, but
yeah,
he animation
he started with
canceled
the long, then didn't have the range
Yeah.
to get the medium off. Bit unfortunate. Oh man, I'm kind of close to dying here. Oh, actually no. X-Bingo has the rocket flare, so no kill potential then.
Clockwork going for a very defensive build here up top, and build where he can help out some of these other lanes. Like he can add some extra pressure and kill potential onto Old Chicken if he wants to throw rocket flares towards mid.
This Shadow Fiend is, I mean, you mentioned it, guys, but jeez, he's getting dominated. 19-9 on U9.
No stacks to fall back to as well yet, so limited what he can do. Maybe hoping for this fella here, Kaka, to rotate in with a charge. He's Iron Shelled up, so
This could be potent.
there's an Earthshaker here. This is unlikely to work with him. Unless Earthshaker leaves this lane, I don't see this gank working.
The classic dual lane mid. No stacking on the Radiant either. What a rare game where we're not seeing stackies. They dive onto Old Chicken. Spirit Breaker. Maybe thinking about that charge. Oh, those claves. They were hurt.
He's coming. No, he cancels. I think the rocket flare just missed. Otherwise, that may have been a kill. At one point, Old Chicken got down to like 104 HP. Would have been close.
And now U9 is a haster, and he can possibly just dive and solo kill the Shadow Fiend if he gets out of position.
Max Glaive build, just a lot of damage right click potential.
This is where this build, like, if you don't get help from your team, it's so annoying to lane against Silencer when he plays like this.
And that's where Winter Wyvern has prioritized entirely zoning out the Clockwork, as you kind of need to do. I mean, Jaro can 1v1 Clock, but Clock's going to get 100% XP and even a decent amount of farm there. So they could have helped SF out by having Wyvern in the mid lane, but instead chose to zone out Clock.
Rockets coming in. It will connect. They've got the Fissure available.
A bit far back.
Old Chicken did not see the Shaker. He's just playing safe. And he's nervous as they dive the bottom lane, but Lena connects with the 2-hero stun. Beautifully played by Faith. Doppelganger forward from XinQ. Has the Lance available, but he goes on the Kaka. Not onto the Darkseer, who got off all his bottle charges. Fissure coming through. Good rotation from LPC. Will be enough to get the kill. And meanwhile, mid, U9 still hanging on to that haste rune. Really could have gone there and gotten an easy solo kill, but maybe worried about the rotation or the Wyvern parked behind him. In fact, Lanham was not in position. And apparently he did get level 1 raise. I couldn't remember, to be honest. So
Yeah, I did.
just getting outplayed and out-harassed in lane.
He's fallen back to the jungle now, but as said earlier, no stacks available, so this is not going to be
This is
good farm by any means.
Even the Wildkins are too strong for the Shadow Fiend to handle.
There's the haster. And U9, this is where your SF goes jungle and a support takes over the lane, but a hasted silencer will find you, and that's stolen intel. This is where carry silencer is a lot scarier with stolen intel than the support silencer we saw last game. This here,
Meanwhile, action bottom as
going for
11 is
Glaives.
diving XinQ. Trying to get the pressure here. Lance was committed. He's got no mana available at this point and no cooldown for the Doppelganger. Already committed that one. Faith coming in, though. Does get the stun. Light Strike Array followed up by a Dragon Slave. It will end up being the death of the Phantom
there's a
Lancer,
Fissure.
though. 1 for 1, but
no mana.
He already threw it out. Cooldown's still
to
there.
charge away.
Kaka, though, where's he going to go? Charging. Yep, see ya.
I don't know. Urshica's like, I'll block it, guys.
But can Silencer catch him out? Ooh, 9.
He's got no TP. He's actually out of mana as well.
Uh-oh. This is an awkward position. Actually, a safe one, but, I mean, he's going to be here a while.
They may know his items that he had no TP. They probably assume he just charged and then walked home. Well, I guess he can't walk home. There's all kinds of stuff blocking it for some time.
You can't get out here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's stuck.
He's got to wait for that mana
charge.
regen.
Just got to wait about
30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
A little bit less. That's not too bad. Oh, actually, it's a little bit more because his int's so low.
So he's not going to be able to get.
It's like almost worth dying just to be able to get back and do something.
You can't die. The neutrals are there, but you can't aggro them.
No, I mean not canceling the charge.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it, especially for a silencer, it's probably not giving him that free kill. But
I think he thought he maybe he tried to cancel it so that he didn't get stuck, I guess, or he could have gone for a neutral suicide. But that's one of EHOME's kind of key early game laning stage controllers taken out of the picture and does free up Tongfu a lot. Clockwork's still looking for his levels in the off lane, which aren't really coming his way though.
Charge comes towards the bottom side, and now Kaka will take this opportunity to grab a bounty rune and swing back towards the base. So, getting close to his Urn of Shadows. Looks like. As far as farm goes, gods, we are seeing the safe lane gyro of CTY just having the best time of everyone. Yeah. PL under a lot of pressure bottom, only 31 CS, and while Shadow Fiend playing some catch up, still Silencer definitely winning that mid lane.
And that's what LANM kind of accomplished by laning top rather than mid, is that this gyro is heavily out farming the PL, but SF is struggling. SF always a pretty good catch-up flash farmer, has the raises to just power farm in the jungle, push out lanes quickly, and be very efficient, kind of in a similar style to an anti-mage can, but we're going to need to see CTY get involved to create some of that space, to give him the room to farm. CTY ready to get involved, has a TP scroll, has hit level 8, so...
I feel like we just haven't seen anyone pull off that, like, early pressure that Aggressive got off at TI.
This is kind of it. It's maybe a little later than what CDEC would do. But
I guess teams have gotten better at reacting to it, whereas CDEC just caught everyone off guard with it. Yep. They're going to charge onto Faith, could turn and try for the stun. Now it's too late. The cow's on top of him and starts to go to work. The global comes out, though, but cooldown's already been deployed. Bit too late to turn the tides of this engagement, unfortunately, so a wasted global. A kill secured, and a tower likely to go down as well.
Yeah, for support Lina as well, I don't think the global... I guess if cooldown hadn't gone off, Lina could have... Yeah, potentially, if you would have movement speed from Fury Soul, so you could have looked to survive. But you want to save that global for a counter initiation if Hero's actually going to go for kills, which wasn't the position Tongfu were in.
11. He's not, where's your HP, LPC? Where's your HP, my friend? Charge! Too late on the Fissure. Wall gets dropped as well, and they will secure an additional kill. The Lina stun off the mark. If it connects there, Kaka does go down, but only the slave to damage him. CTY retreats out. 11 taking the last word damage. Another slave. Faith doing a lot of damage on the support Lina, and the creeps there to spread the rocket barrage love.
He's like, get me away from this silencer. No instill for you.
Thank you very much. I'll take that golden experience anyway, says Faith.
Yeah.
No, again, Kaka. This area is just not kind to him.
He's actually going to die this time. That's
all right. He spent his gold.
All right, yeah. Yeah. The important thing there when Darkseer surged in the tower was that he wasn't giving Silencer instill. So U9 doesn't get anything for it. Got an assist, but doesn't actually get any more intel. But he's going straight into the Rod of Atos. Pretty standard, I guess, kind of
standard
silencer.
Standard,
item,
non-standard.
Yeah,
it's like standard for carry silencer, but carry silencer non-standard.
That's what we were
for
saying.
Dota.
Rod of Atos is a core item for any hero, since it's one of the least bought items in the game.
Yeah, definitely versus Surge. I'm not sure this item is that great though. Yeah, maybe it's the Bloodstone Rush. How about that?
That's definitely a core item on a lot of heroes right now.
Silencer foremost amongst them.
Well, this PL's in trouble. You can surge the gyro and he can chase after.
Gets off the cooldown. May not even need that surge. Connects with the first one, but they back Zincu back. It will end up going down.
He's a bit greedy there, surging himself over CTY. I guess he wanted to
He
get
had
in for
faith.
a vacuum.
Something you are sorely lacking in.
What do you
my
mean? Tongfu have faith, LD. Get your facts right.
They have a Laguna Blade here. If this stun connects, Faith could end up turning this around. Very clever, by the way. That was good. I like that. Drums, Lina stun, does connect, can turn this with a Laguna, as well as a slave. CTY though, tanky, pops the stick charge, just gets
a lot of
surged in.
rotations. And level 4 Clockwork. This offlane's just been a disaster for Tongfu.
What happened? He was like level 3 the last time I looked at 6 minutes.
And Gyro's been roaming. This top lane has been Lan M on Wyvern just solo for, I feel like, the last 2 to 3 minutes. It was 8 minutes, like 8 minutes 20 when Gyro TP bottom, and I don't think Gyro's returned to that safe lane since.
What's he been doing?
Twiddling his thumbs around the tier 1 tower top.
I'm not even going to speculate. Definitely need to watch the replay to confirm, but
Bingo's...
You need your level 6 by now, that's for sure.
Yeah, and that's definitely costing Tongfu what they can do. And if anything, it's like, even if he maybe should have gotten more from the offlane, Tongfu had to recognize this and just give him the mid lane or something. Silencer go jungle, which is another weakness of the Silencer mid pick compared to the Lina, is this is not a hero who can transition in the jungle. And that's where the Lina is a much more natural fit to the mid lane, because when your support or an offlaner is struggling, having a bad start, they can take over the mid lane while you go farm your jungle, stack some camps, and continue to farm. Silencer
like right now, they could just be killing Shadow Fiend if they had the hook.
Yeah.
That would be an easy kill.
It's given EHOME so much room to just farm and catch up and even get the Gyro. Like, Gyro is making a deep dive near a tier 2 bottom. Multiple TPs come in, but there's no punish because they don't have that hook shot.
So they do smoke here on Tongfu Gods, and they're going to wrap on towards the bottom lane. Some deep wards from EHOME. Maybe giving them a sense that someone's missing, but they didn't actually see the smoke, and so they will get caught out here potentially. Kaka now visible. They begin with the global. They got a 2-hero fissure nicely placed. Laguna follow-up, securing the kill, and some additional intel now up to +6. Delicious damage for U9. But Gyro's coming.
Yeah, we're gonna run from this guy, probably. Phase drums, starting to work on maybe BKB, possibly SMY. With how badly Clockwork's doing, you may just say, let's go SMY. He's not getting a Blade Mail anytime soon, but... Actually, no, he's actually farming alright. He's got most of the Blade Mail. What am I talking about? He's getting farm, but not XP, apparently. Just the long-range Rocket Flare action as he hits a 13-minute level 6.
Xingqiu tanking that first call down. Rocket Barrage follow-up. They're going to chase this one. Vacuuming back Xingqiu, but a little bit worried. Actually, there was a Soul Raid. I was going to say he had no mana for Fissure, but he did, in fact. So EHOME wisely back off. But yeah, it's this is just the Shadow Fiend dream, you know, like terrible start, but just left totally alone. Suddenly ADCS, dead even with the Silencer who was dominating him. It's just 6.84 in a nutshell, honestly.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of games where a mid laner can get wrecked, but it doesn't affect the outcome of the game. I think it's happened in what, like both the last 2 games, or maybe just one. Like last game, it was Old Chicken in mid getting wrecked by the early rotations, getting solo killed by Alina as Storm, and he got wrecked, but it didn't matter at all in the outcome of the game.
The charge will go bottom. Xingqiu, does he doppelganger dodge this? Yes, sir. You betcha, but the cooldown still comes through. Oh, misses, and they get the kill anyway with another strike into the Rocket Barrage. That's when you know you're in good shape. When you whiff the charge, you whiff the cooldown, get the kill anyway.
And Old Chicken's like, I can actually join my team now. He's got level 2 Requiem. He offers a lot of damage output between this and Razors. Not to mention his team has a mech.
Finally, they've got hook shot. Zex Bingo will immediately use it. They do bring down the gyrocopter. That's a big way to start the fight, but this is a good turn from Kaka, finding the 3-hero charge. Bash special. Will not back up.
That's a Silencer getting a big chunk of gold for the Gyro's mega kill streak, so... Good initiation from Tongfu. Kind of a aggressive play from them considering they were down a man, but SF didn't have any of his items on him, so his Sanj and Blade of Alacrity arrive a bit later. He was playing fairly passively because he's not that tanky.
It has been a long time since I haven't seen a Shadow Fiend go mech, but that's what the Darkseer's for here, you know?
Gets a kind of different form of survivability with the SMY build. Probably just see like
it's kind of refreshing, honestly, just to be able to go. You have a bad start. It doesn't really feel great. Like, oh, all right, I'll buy my mech now at 15 minutes. You know, you'd rather be getting something that helps you to fight a little more, or to be more aggressive, I should say.
I imagine he's just going to tank up a lot this game. Get like an SMY, BKB, even a Skadi after that. Not going for like a greedy farming style build. We've seen some like Helm of the Dominator rushes, but something a bit different. CTY looking to continue his pressure as he swings towards top lane. He's got a backstab in the form of Darkseer available, but this is a...
Hello, Darkseer. Hookshot comes through. Follow-up. Laguna. Stun. Easy takedown. Tongfu just finding a freebie. I don't even think they saw him run in. Just walked into him.
And that gets Clockwork close to a Blade Mail. Clockwork can get this Blade Mail well before the Gyro BKB comes up, or at least a few minutes before. You could see some openings for Bingo to start getting some revenge on this Gyrocopter for the laning stage.
And the Shadow Fiend are the two leaders in net worth, but not too far behind them. 09 with the completed Mighty Rod of Atos.
Yeah. I mean, Silencer just not a power farmer. That's where he crushed that mid lane, but...
It's why when we see Silencer picks, they so often go Midas. It's, you know, it's just a hero that kind of needs it to keep up.
I feel like Lina needs to transition into at least a semi-core for this team. You can't just have a... I mean, right now, Faith with Double Bracer at least gets a bit more survivability, but I feel like Faith really needs some good utility items. The Yule Scepter, and eventually an Axe as well. Like if for Tongfu to go well in the mid to late game, Lina is the hero that can benefit the most from some big items here. Like
you say that, and I agree, but that is not really Faith's way.
No.
He is... I mean, to me, I feel like the vast majority of Faith games, regardless of whether he's the 4 or the 5, he's got 5-level farm. He's not a guy who gets much.
He's going down here.
Once the creeps, once the farm, another strike into a cooldown. That's all that's really left for him. And now U9 gets back in as well. Suddenly out of position. Nice Rod of Atos, bro, but not enough to save him. So they just bull rush their way past the Tongfu backlines, take the heroes, now turn on the tower. They'll grab that as well.
I think that counter initiation works if you global silence them, but Silencer was one of the heroes TPing, so he can't global while he's TPing. Maybe he can global and then TP right after, but they need a TP in heroes like Clockwork as they global, and then they can try and counter initiate. But EHOME get a tier 1 and possibly a tier 2 as well off of a really nice aggressive play. CTY going for a bit of a greedy item choice here, not going for the BKB against a Clockwork is maybe something Tongfu can look to punish, but so far Tongfu have really shown they're just going to sit back and kind of play passively, except when they found like the one smoke gank towards bottom lane, but other than that, they've been the ones on the defensive.
Phantom Lancer, I think it's been a while since I've seen one shut down this hard. He's struggling to find his farm, 1 and 3, the constant ganks really getting to ZenQ, but now he's got his BOTs, so let the catch-up begin.
And they're going to go for another smoke, so PL will keep farming. If they fight near a lane, he can always TP in, and it's bottom lane they're headed, so they've got a creep wave out there for PL to TP on and look for that kind of clean-up kill action, but for now it looks like EHOME somewhat wary of this R hugging their tier 1 tower.
Showing the PL mid while the rest of the gank is smoked up.
This one dire ward that, like near the top lane, that just scouts out so much, and it kind of reveals the fact they're smoked. You see no one farming this top lane, you see no one hiding like behind the tier 2 tower. That's where you're like, PL's in the jungle / bottom. Where's the rest of the team? It's a pretty obvious smoke just because of how good awards that EHOME have up right now.
You just see now ZenQ TP to the top side of the map. Shadow Fiend SOI complete. He grabs another Ogre Club, closing in on his own Gyrocopter. So both cores getting tanky. Looks like Ancients were warded, so they at least try to limit the economy game for EHOME a bit. But gods, can they look for a Roshan here?
Yep, I think they definitely can, but they don't need to by any means. They'd rather use the smoke to try and make a similar play to what we saw at top. But they're going to ping back at Roche, so they've got great deep vision. They see a lot of heroes right now. They may even see this smoke. They're just out of range. Actually, it doesn't look like they're even going to go for this smoke. Okay, they do.
All right, things could get interesting quickly now. Roshan, though, down to about a 3rd HP, dropping fast. A quarter left, getting chunked down by the old chicken. If they walk into the pit, this could be the best or the worst timing. Not sure yet. The global comes out, hooked through, but too late. Last hit to the Dire. They also grab the Aegis, and they get it on the Shadow Fiend. Still have a second life here, even through the Lina stun. The turn comes now from Landham. Got off the Winter's Curse to disengage the Requiem. Echo, not enough to turn the fight. 4 get melted down and turned into gold for EHOME. And they chase onwards, looking for the 5th.
Oh.
The lone survivor is a Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, you're dead right. It could be the best or the worst timing, and SF just managed to get the Aegis. If Clockwork had got in there with the hook, got the Aegis, blade mailed a lot of the damage coming his way. It could have been a fantastic fight for Tongfu, but...
And it looked almost perfect. They get the hook off, they global instantly, but EHOME just grabbed the Aegis, and then everything falls apart. You run into the call down, the The big Requiem.
And importantly, the mech was up as well, so it just seemed like Tongfu was slightly missing out on damage. And that's where Silencer as your mid isn't really a burst damage type hero. Just the PL as well hasn't got the items to do any right-click damage. There's a Phantom Lance. There's a Lina with, as your like 5 position support, is the one dishing out the highest burst damage right now, which is a concern for the Tongfu side.
Uh-oh, Xingqiu. Charge is coming in. He just got a quick glimpse of vision there and tries to doppelganger out, but they're still in the neighborhood. They're going to keep eyes on him now. Tries to run to the trees, goes for the TP out. Another strike not available, fortunately for him. You see Tongfu just kind of chasing EHOME around the map, it feels like. Now trailing 14,000 gold. Similar experience. They're
The
in a
Silencer
lot
has
of trouble.
not picked up an item or any farm since getting this ATOS, which happened like a good 5 minutes ago, it feels like. When it happened when he killed the Gyro bottom and ended the big streak. And since then, there's been no farm going U9's way. Well, this ward just allowing these charges to happen, although this one gets cancelled.
You know, to further your point, it feels like the thing with Silencers, it's not that it can't work as a core, but there's not nearly as many options for how to make it work. Like your Shadow Fiend can farm, he can fight, he can Rosh, he can push. The Silencer pretty much gotta make things happen with Global, or you will fall behind.
I like it when you have like your other main core is a hero that has a lot of just kill potential and damage output. Like to me, PL is too greedy and farm intensive for the Silencer to work. Like you've got two kind of single target carries who one who needs a lot of farm, the other who can kind of single target damage. But you're better off if you have like a Silencer with maybe a TA or a Shadow Fiend or a Lina, someone who can actually do a lot of work in the mid game, which is not really where PL shines.
EHOME continuing to just tighten up that noose a little bit. They get another ward down in the Radiant jungle. Still have the hill ward you pointed out. They are feeling confident, gods. 3,600 gold up on the gyrocopter. Old Chicken now completed the BKB. And looks for a bit more, and CTY just runs in. That 4 gets off the call down. Oh, I thought they would follow that up for sure. That was...
Unfortunately,
that was just a game-winning call down if the team was ready.
Yeah.
But
He didn't have a
weren't in
BKB
position.
as well. If he has BKB, maybe he can just Rambo in CTY fashion. He probably would have loved to have gone for that, but
Yeah, or if they have like a blink on the Darkseer.
no one actually has a blink on this dire side, which made following that up near
What for
impossible.
Guardian Greaves, Soul Rain, Bottle, and a Magic Stick? That's a lot of regen.
I guess
This guy's like a walking fountain.
Greaves against the Silencer is going to be really handy.
That's
actually-
a good point.
As much as you want your Blink Dagger, you've got to get out of that silence as a Darkseer. He can then instantly counter-initiate. Like, Tongfu are going to be like, okay, with their silence, we can safely take a team fight, and suddenly, bam, vacuum wall, and they're like, what just happened?
Look at the wards, gods. You pointed them out
boy.
earlier. They continue to give excellent vision, and now the Cavalry are charging in. They get that initiation on U9 prepped up. Bingo's ready to go. He hooks somehow through the Shadow Fiend and straight onto the Gyrocopter, but promptly meets with a early demise. They just don't have the damage on these BKBs.
EHOME, this is the best game they've played all night. Like, this has just been polished play from them. The Shadow Fiend did get crushed mid lane, but they've just adjusted and played around it so well. They've now picked up a gem to get complete map control. It's still back at base, but it's just like all the ideas and the execution has been on point this game, and they're all ready to push high ground 24 minutes in, so
And
not
remember,
much Tongfu
this is
can
a
do.
team that changed 3 players and also lost ROTK as their captain, so definitely a team that you can see a lot of growth potential if they can get the leadership situation figured out, and it seems like maybe they are right before our very eyes.
They're going to back off with Silencer respawning. Global is available, so they don't feel safe fighting, especially with both BKBs down, Shadow Fiend and Gyrocopter.
Kaka
Fighting position.
into the bottom lane and then back to the well. Yep. Goodbye, Mr. Phantom Lancer.
Well, let's give it a TP. Maybe just a PL free tower. Here comes one.
Nothing's
There's
free
the
in this
charge.
life, gods. There's a vacuum. It's going to cancel it. Now the charge coming through. Xingqiu, at least get the tower, my man, and he will do so. But he's in trouble. Shadow Fiend whipping the raise. Oh, charge still coming through, though, and deleted.
Yikes. That's worrisome. That's not a trade you want to see happen right after you've lost a tier 3 mid tower in your high ground. And I like this picker. We talked about how there wasn't follow-up in the mid lane when they got that great cooldown. Old Chicken goes back for a Blink Dagger. The first of many blinks for this team. Darkseer also picks one up simultaneously, so we can see some great wombo combo potential coming out with these double blinks on the side of the Dire.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
It may be over before
Back
then,
call down
unfortunately.
Requiem. That sounds pretty dirty.
But
Oh, and you've got the
Winter's
Winter's Curse. Yeah. Just for
not
good
sure
measure.
what's going to kill him off first, but for now, it's just Tongfu doing what they can to scrape together some farm. Earthshaker, still no Blink Dagger. He's kind of been given some priority here at the bottom lane, but he's about 600-700 gold short, even as it is.
EHOME just marching from lane to lane, constantly barreling these creeps back towards the Radiant base and maintaining just massive map control. By the way, the double whiff on the D-ward gods.
Oh.
Don't know if we mentioned that.
That's brutal stuff.
They knew there was a ward there after that charge earlier, but just couldn't quite find it.
It's really unfortunate. Like another ward up in the top lane as well. I mean, EHOME's vision continues to be on point. And I think right now the main thing they're waiting for is the next Roshan. They could go for a high ground push, and I think chances are they'd probably get the racks with the BKBs on both their cores and the mech backup from a Darkseer, but they don't have to risk it if they want to wait for Roshan, although it looks like they are still grouping up somewhat towards this mid lane, so it feels like they're definitely strong enough to get a Rax without Aegis, but it's also like, why not wait for Aegis as well as Gyrocopter's MKB/Butterfly, whichever item he wants to go for next, because Gyro gets a lot stronger at pushing when he gets that damage item.
You sound like you're in queue. Why not wait? Why not? Just let me farm. Just a couple more creep waves, guys. You don't have to push now.
Right there.
Take your time. Let my Earthshaker get a Blink Dagger. That's great. Dodges away from the
You
charge.
can't TP from that.
Nether Strike. Oh, this is... Oh, why not wait? If you're going to run it like that, Zinq.
Gosh.
Where are you going? You're going back to the well, my friend.
I guess he maybe called for the silence a lot earlier, expecting it to cover his TP out, but...
Do they even... I think you just go down mid now.
Yeah, 50
They
seconds.
did blow the Shadow Fiend BKB.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but not going to stop you from pushing, I don't think. You just push primarily with Gyro, who is sending the courier to the secret shop. So
Oh, close call.
we'll see what Gyro's going for. Whether it's it will be an Eagle Song, so Butterfly coming up next. And
All right,
Good
everything
item
on the
against
Earthshaker here. Oh, it's only a level 1 Echo.
oh yeah, that. And EHOME, I don't think they've scouted it yet, but you somewhat always expect this. They should be.
It is almost
fairly
30
split.
minutes.
Yeah, they've got 20 seconds. They can definitely get a range Rax here. Maybe they just back off and go for Roshan before the melee.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I do feel like SF needs to be careful with his positioning up front because there is potential for a hook Laguna Blade with his BKB on cooldown.
Slapping away here at the range racks. We'll finish it off. Keeping the rest of the squad behind him. No reason to get in too close if you're EHOME. Slow and steady does it.
All right, he's got BKB back up.
Zinq. Doppelganger just to get a little illusion army going.
That was brave from Old Chicken. I feel like that was maybe Tongfu's opening to go on him before his BKB came up.
Now it's going to be a lot trickier, and they will begin by last wording him. And Kaká just goes in, BKB. But no follow-up for this as they try to engage. The wall gets dropped down, and suddenly a Winter's Curse deployed on top of it. And, yeah, well, the game is just totally self-destructing. Basically, all that matters is Tongfu are dead. EHOME are taking
I don't
the
actually know what happened in that fight.
Perfect world happened that fight. This is the unbeatable combo, gods. The Perfect World Reborn duo. That is the unstoppable combo of won't be able to properly...
When you said this is the most unstoppable combo, I thought you were about to say like Darkseer plus Winter Wyvern, and then
Perfect World Reborn, dude. You can't beat that. There's no winning against that. There's only death and sadness. Sadness for Zinq as well.
oh, even
Try
with
to
the
get off
global.
the global silence, but doesn't even matter. EHOME, maybe on the way out they'll be punished here. Echo was already used in that earlier mid
The
defense, though.
Greaves.
Greaves making the difference for some heroes.
Not for all.
Not for all.
Not for many.
CTY, actually, only for Shadow
And
Fiend.
he lost a gem too. That was sizable overextension from EHOME, but they're still in a grand position with a lane of racks taken. Roshan respawning in the next couple of minutes. They're looking like they should be able to take this game, and whiff hook shot.
Wah, wah.
So they'll respawn. They'll complete the butterfly on Gyro, grab themselves an Aegis, and be back for this bottom lane of racks, I imagine. Despite that unnecessary swing back Tongfu's way.
Did cost them a buyback on the Lina, but I mean, at this point, your support Faith Lina is happy to buy back to get any kind of kill or momentum.
Yeah, gem, which is I guess 1800 gold swing and the 3 kills. Those are some pretty high value kills too. Gyro giving Silencer 800 gold, so Silencer can actually has farmed up a BKB now, so we'll be able to fight a little bit better into the AoE damage that Gyro and Shadow Fiend bring to the table. But
Yeah. Why not get a Mjolnir? Just in case this goes late.
interesting.
Old Chicken wants to be ready.
Huh. Just be able to fight the PL army somewhat better on your own.
Well, Earthshaker on Cow Violence, and needless to say, the Lantern guy wins that one. And he was the gem carrier, so the gem right back where it started, and EHOME's waiting arms.
That's sloppy from Earthshaker, being farming there. He's already got his blink. He doesn't need to be farming any further, but EHOME headed towards Roche Pits, just respawned on the Gyrocopter's respawn, so that's pretty handy for them. And Gyro now just about has enough money for the butterfly. He's 500 gold short.
EHOME will look to take the Roche now. Should be an easy one. No contest even attempted. Tongfu.
Oh, we'll scout it out.
Maybe they'll snipe it with the rocket? Oh!
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
So, yeah, Gyro has got Butterfly, so that's going to make this push even harder to defend for the Tongfu side. There's really nothing feasible for them to do. They have got level 2 Echo Slam, but with BKB on your 2 carries, as well as the Spirit Breaker, there's 3 BKBs on this team, and Blink Initiators, they've got very tanky cores in the front lines, and an Aegis. There's nothing actually possible for Tongfu to do to defend this one.
Mjolnir already completed and active. Old Chicken just threatening and urging Tongfu, come at me, try and fight me, and they will do so with a Blink Echo, follow-up Global Suns, but BKBs get popped, and Old Chicken, who is already godlike, the back comes out at the perfect moment, he blinks on forward, slapping down the silencer and forcing out the GG. EHOME feels like they got a lot better over the course of this series.
Yeah. To think game 1 happened. That's probably one of those games they're just going to want to wipe out of their memory. Maybe not pick CTY Anti-Mage for
I think
like
First Lanham
3 or
is
4
probably
days.
going to slap around some of these younger players on the team and say, you do not do that when you're on my squad, CTY. You keep it together. And probably yelled at himself, too. They did have that one bad fight at the Roche Pit.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can't just pin that game on CTY by any means. But yeah, EHOME scraped through. I don't even. They won this series convincingly.
Their 2 wins were convincing.
Yeah,
the game 1 loss was almost a win. So
as convincing as a 3-game series can be, that was EHOME, because game 2, game 3 were both pretty one-sided, and that was both games where Old Chicken had a rough mid lane. It didn't even seem to phase them, and Tongfu never really got enough out of it. I think Tongfu's offlane was really one of their biggest weak points in both game 2 and game 3. Bingo was so underleveled both times, and that was like this game it was level 6 at like 15 minutes or something, so they kind of suffered because of that.
So with that, the 2 biggest name teams do move on to the winter bracket finals. Now you've got EHOME as well as IG. Do you feel either team has stronger form right now, or do you think they're pretty evenly matched?
That's a tough one. I think they're pretty evenly matched. I don't think EHOME will let Luo get Broodmother in any of the games. Maybe one game, and then
but if they
lose
do,
to
it'll probably be because they have a plan.
Yeah. So I think maybe a slight edge to EHOME. Slight edge. But I'm
pending
I say that
CTY's
hesitantly.
decision making.
Yeah, it's like I after game 1 I was like, man, even if EHOME win this series, like they're gonna get destroyed by. I was thinking IG have to be favorites now, but I mean EHOME bounced back and just game 2, game 3 just looked like they were in cruise control. So I feel like if this EHOME shows up, they should be slight favorites, but it should be a good series.
All right. Well, you have it here, guys. Gods is saying EHOME 120% crushes IG tomorrow.
What do you think, LD? What do you think? Who's favorites?
I don't know. I think
IG?
they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah.
I think IG's been challenged less is the main thing for me. So
yeah.
I feel like Tongfu really impressed us today. So guys, with that, let's see what happens in the future. The Nanyang Chinese qualifier not over yet. One of these teams will move on. I think we've got a bunch of lower bracket games coming up over the next 2 days or so as we look to round things out and get towards the finals. So with that, thank you all for watching. We'll have a rebroadcast coming out next, and then the BTS Americas will continue. We've actually got a triple header coming your way, which I believe Kato Guy will be bringing all 3 matches. So that will start at 12 local time, which is approximately 5 hours from now. So thanks for watching, guys. I think Mood Ducks got their big finals coming up soon, so check that out, and then come on back and check out some BTS Americas action.